Let's throw some bowls off the hump.
But first, coffee. Doesn't it look yum? Yay! All right, now that I've had the best coffee ever, we can throw. We're gonna throw off the hump today. I wanna make some bowls, and I decided that throwing them off the hump is sometimes an easier way to do it. It's kind of nice because you don't have to center all of the clay at once. I'm just centering the top bit. I grab the amount of clay that I'm gonna use for that piece. I center it, I cone it up, and I'm bringing it down. One of the main things when you're throwing off the hump is compressing. Once I open it, I'm going to compress it really good. It is hard to compress clay when there's so much clay under it. So you do have to really work at this. The number one problem people have is it cracking. Anytime you make littles or anything off the hump, it's so easy to get those as cracks in there. So really compress these babies, but then just throw it just like you normally would. Try not to skip any step that you would normally do when you're throwing. Make your pulls just as the same as you always did. Start at the bottom, go to the rim, very slow. Hands on and off slowly. Regroup your rim, get the water out of the center of it, and make sure you're getting the shape you want. With this, I'm really using my outside hand for support, and my inside hand is rounding this. I want them to all have this nice rounded belly. So I'm regrouping my rim again. The rim can go out of whack pretty easy, so I'm very careful about that. Now I take my finger at the very base of it. This is really important. I took my nail and make a little indent at the base with my nail, and then I have this really cool little string that's on a bobber, and I wrap it around. I let the wheel do the work, and then it comes right off with a straight bottom. I love this thing. So here I go. I'm just gonna keep going and make as many as I can until I run out of clay. As you can see, compressing is super important. Then I'm going to make that donut and then make my pull. Now I'm going to go to the side, make my next pull, and then this pull is going to be more of a shaping pull. This is such a fast way to make bowls, especially if you're going to make a whole bunch of them. And generally, if you're grabbing the same amount of clay, your bowls are going to look very similar. These ones, I'm really not trying to make them look similar. I'm just making bowls. So just have fun with it. I love the rib. That's really going to help get that nice round shape a lot faster than if I was using my hand. And here you see again, I use my nail, the string, and pop it off. Look how flat that is. I love it. It works so well. And here, since I'm getting lower to the bottom, I'm centering a little bit of that bottom clay, but not a whole lot of it. Most of the centering is just the area that I'm going to be using. Compress really, really good. Make that pull. You can see how much clay you can bring up with that first pull. It's amazing. Get the shape you like and regroup that rim. I really believe in regrouping the rim. It's so easy for you to kind of throw it off balance. If you regroup it and keep it where it's supposed to be, it's just going to make your life a little easier. These kind of look like little rice bowls, but it's not what they're going to be in the end. But I do feel like they look very much like a rice bowl. Got my nail, put that line. You can see that string. Just make sure that you have a hand ready underneath to catch it when you do pop it off, because it will go flying otherwise. And I always do try to put my hand right under it. And I have a wear board on the side of me. You can't see it. I should have put it somewhere you could see, but it's right beside me so I can grab the pieces right from the wheel, go straight to a wear board. It looks like I'll be making about 7 bowls. out of that chunk of clay. And then the very bottom piece, I always make a spoon rest. It's just enough clay right there. It's not a lot of clay, but it's enough that it's about the perfect size for a spoon rest just about every time I throw off the hump. So that is what I generally would make. So coming up here, you'll be able to see the little bobber and string that I use to cut it off a lot better. So as you can see, I put that little indent. There's the bobber and string. And there I left it right on my stuff. So the bobber is to keep the string from getting lost. I can throw it in my water bucket and it just stays right on top, and it's really nice. You could probably use a cute little rubber ducky or something too, but a bobber is what I had. So it works well. I really am glad that I have it. This video is really great for when you're trying to learn something. All the repetition in it should really help you remember all the steps and all the different things you can do. And also a new technique. If you've never thrown off the hump before, this is such a fun way or a fun thing to try. You could make anything off the hump. You don't have to make minis, but minis are probably the #1 thing made off of the hump. But you can make bowls, you can make mugs, you can make absolutely anything. So super, super fun. I hope you try this. If you do, let me know how it worked out for you. If you have any questions about it, or if you have any suggestions on different things, I would love to try things. Let me know. I would say that if I was doing it, the main thing I would tell you is make sure you have a place to set your pieces as you go, because it's not very fun if you have to get up every time. So I put a stool down and then I throw a wear board on top of it, and that way I can put my pieces right there. I use a sponge, a rib, and my string on a bobber. Those are the main tools that I use while I'm doing this. Now you might need different tools depending on what you're making. Since these are just some fast, easy bowls, that's all I'm using. Since I'm now getting down to the bottom, I've got all this extra clay that didn't really get brought in. So that's what I'm doing here, is I'm just pulling the clay that's on the bat into the rest of it. When I do that, I need to really be careful it doesn't roll over on top of itself and cause a slip ring. I don't want any of that clay to just kind of fall off. I want to make sure that it's all nice and together and solid without any slurry between it or air or any of that stuff. That way I can use it. I want to use all the clay. I don't like recycling it. Of course we do that. It's just a lot of work. So as much of the clay that I can use, I will for sure. So this is probably the last bowl I'll be able to make with this clay. I'm kind of running out. It's going to be a little smaller than the rest, but that's okay too. It's a little bit of a mess, but I'll get it cleaned up here. Get my rim looking a little better here in a second. And just get that nice round shape that I've been going for with all of them. Here I go, cut it off with my string. And now you can see that I've just got that little blob of clay at the bottom. I think a lot of people might just take that and scrape it off and throw it in the recycle. But like I said, recycling is not my favorite thing. So I'm going to turn it into a spoon rest. Got it nice and compressed. Got my walls pulled up. I'm just going to shape this baby and pull out. I like a little swirl in my spoon rest, so that's what I'm doing here, is putting the swirl and then the little area for the handle to stick out. And there we go. Since we're in a community studio, I try to always wipe my bats, and then I just cut it off with cut-off wire, pull it off with my hand, and flop it down. I can't wait to see you in the studio. Please like and share.